Of all the ways we've listened to music, one format just keeps coming back: the vinyl record. Behind every crackle is a story of invention, craftsmanship, and a comeback that nobody saw coming. In this video, we're diving into how records are made, where they came from, and why a century-old format is finding new life today. Making a modern vinyl record starts with a digital master track, which is cut into a lacquer disc using a precision lathe, creating a groove that holds the sound. The lacquer is then coated in metal to form a stamper, a physical mold of the music. Heated PVC, called a biscuit, is placed between two stampers and pressed into a record. After pressing, the record is cooled, trimmed, and inspected. Then it's sleeved, labelled, and ready to spin. A physical imprint of music you can feel. Vinyl may be old tech, but it's making a big comeback. People love the warmth, the artwork, and the ritual. But where did it all begin? It all started in 1877 when Thomas Edison invented the phonograph. Sound moved a needle that etched vibrations into a spinning wax cylinder, tiny grooves that captured real-time audio. To play it back, a stylus retraced the grooves, vibrating the air back into sound. 10 years later, Emil Berliner introduced the flat disc and gramophone. Shellac discs were easier to mass produce, and soon, recorded music was in homes everywhere. Then, in the late 1940s, vinyl arrived. Lighter, tougher, and able to hold more music. The long play record, or LP, offered 20 minutes per side and changed how we experience albums. By the 1950s, vinyl ruled, and even now, its groove is far from gone. To find out more about what's driving this resurgence and what vinyl means to collectors today, we're here at RPM Records in Marrickville to speak with some people who have seen it all. So I'm here with Steve and Lizzie, the owners of RPM Records in Marrickville in Sydney. Great to meet you both and thanks for your time.
Thank you.
How did you guys first fall in love with vinyl and how did you get started here with the store?
I'd already started a little vinyl collection, just really because I love the format of vinyl. That was what it was all about. It was a long-term goal to maybe open a record shop / cafe. So I shared this on our first day. And then 6 months later, we literally opened the shop.
Vinyl seems to have outlived sort of every prediction of its death. Why is it that you think it does continue to survive? And what have you guys had to adapt or sort of change to keep the doors open and keep it thriving?
They just never did die off, did they? They became more and more of a niche thing. So by the time that we'd started the record shop, which was in 2015, that was a good few years past the supposed death knell of them, and I guess there'd been more and more opening up in different places, not just here but all over the place. I do obviously like the tangible, the idea of being able to look, listen to the whole record, read the liner notes. There's a lot of sensory things about records that people love. Again, it's a physical thing that you can own, whereas if you're listening to music on the cloud, which I've never done, so you're asking the wrong person. But basically, you're renting it, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly.
You don't own it, you're renting it. It's not the way it was supposed to be listened to. You're not listening to the whole album. You're not flipping it over and listening.
The next question is sort of with that adoption of streaming platforms and the internet in general, as you've been speaking about, have you noticed any change in sort of the vinyl scene since you guys have opened, so sort of in the last 10 years or so?
Where we used to just have like us boomers audience of 10 years ago, it's now morphed into like 2 and 3 generations. It's a place where you can go with your teenager, your 20-year-old son, or your mother, your grandmother, because it's got all ranges of different type of music.
So looking ahead, where do you guys see vinyl sort of in the next 10 years? Do you think the revival will sort of keep going or plateau? How do you guys see the industry going?
When things are of a certain age and they're in a certain condition, it's all about condition, right? There's condition, coolability, and rareability. So if it's not good condition, the rest of the other two don't matter. So if something's from like the 70s and it's in near mint condition in the cover and the vinyl, and it's not on repress, and people want that song because that artist doesn't let it be on Spotify or whatever it is, they just want to own that album, they've got to pay for whatever the open market on eBay or wherever is going to bear.
And just lastly, guys, so if you had to describe what vinyl records represent in sort of a single sentence or a short little phrase, what would it be?
It's a four-way art. It's a collectible art, but not like pictures on the wall. You can't just look at them, so you can look at the covers, but you can also hear them, obviously, right? But then there's the interacting with it and, having to get up and you're hearing the whole album. That's the whole album concept. Every 22 minutes you got to flip. And then there's the lyric sheets and you can sing along. So that's a four-way enjoyment.
Well, thanks so much for your time, guys. It's been great to get to know you guys and have a look around the store, and best of luck with everything.
Thank you.
So there you have it, a resurgent industry spinning strong in a digital world. But before we wrap things up, there's one more stop on our journey, the collector. Now, let's head off to meet Gabby, whose shelves and heart are full of vinyl.
Hi everyone, my name's Gabby and I'm a vinyl record collector. I have roughly 162 records according to Discogs, an app I use to log everything I own to keep track of what I own and how much my collection is worth. I bought my first record when I was 17 and it was Amy Winehouse's Back to Black. When buying records, I tend to seek out pre-loved ones from a record store, market or eBay. I got this Wham record for $2 and it's probably the best deal I've ever gotten on a record. When buying new records, I try to source them from local record stores as I like to support the small businesses and contribute to keeping the stores alive. The most recent record I bought was Joe's new album, The Crux. I have a few limited edition records that are very dear to me. Whether it's a special coloured disc or a limited release, I keep my eye out for these as they're some of the most fun to collect. My most valuable one is the Scott Pilgrim soundtrack and score, which was a 10th anniversary release and featured both the soundtrack and score on special printed discs as well as some other bits and pieces. This collector's item was $300 and is the most I've ever spent on a record. But it was a gift to myself for my 21st birthday, so it's okay. I try to listen to all my records and share the love evenly, but I tend to gravitate towards playing the same ones over and over. My highest rotations are Supertramp's Breakfast in America, ABBA's Super Trooper, and Electric Light Orchestra's El Dorado. Vinyl record collecting is such a fun thing, and it can start many different conversations and can be used to form bonds with other music lovers. I love how records can be passed down and shared with others. If I've outgrown a record or simply don't want it anymore, I make sure to drop it off at a record store, donate it or sell it, to pass it on to someone new who will have their own journey with it. From the press to the store to the shelf, vinyl's journey is still spinning. Maybe there is no vinyl destination after all.